Welcome back. We're continuing with cricket. Former president of Cricket West Indies, Wycliffe Dave Cameron, is bidding for the top job at the International Cricket Council, the ICC. Cameron is unlikely to get the endorsement of Cricket West Indies and has approached India and Pakistan for support in his bid to become the new ICC chairman. Now, according to the Jamaican, he would not be pursuing this position if he did not think he had a chance. Now, the ICC had announced on the 2nd of July that the process of making the new appointment would be completed within the next week, they had said, on the 2nd of July. You would know that it's now July the 17th, and we have not heard anything up to this point. So very, very quiet on the front from the ICC. We're not sure what is happening there. In fact, the stories generally are built around the fact that Colin Graves, the Englishman, is being reported as the leading candidate. The interim president at the moment, Imran Khawaja from Singapore, there is talk that he is interested in the job as well, and Cameron's interest in the job is of course well documented. Now we'll remember that Cricket West Indies Vice President Dr. Kishore Shallow publicly stated that Cameron would not get his support. That declaration caused Cameron to question Dr. Shallow's honour, and in a recent interview on the SportsMax Zone, Cameron asserted that he has not criticised the work of Cricket West Indies since he was voted out of office. This is what he said.
If you can prove that Dave Cameron has said anything negative in the press about this administration, then I will sell you 10 acres of flat land at Blue Mountain Peak.
Well, we've done some research, and it turns out that Cameron, in an interview with Vinod Ramchan from the Trinidad Guardian newspaper during the 2019 ICC World Cup, seemingly criticized the administration of the CWI. This is what Cameron said after the West Indies were knocked out of contention. I'm disappointed with the results, and making the changes to the management setup were not beneficial. They didn't have the right coaching support. You cannot put persons in charge of the setup without a track record. I'm a man about meritocracy. Those coaches at the World Cup have not earned the right in their system to be there, in our system to be there. It is almost the same team that drew with England a few months ago. What's the difference? Also, we are compromising the fitness standards. Andre Russell was around earlier in the year, and we didn't play him because he was injured, and we take him to the World Cup, and Evan into the World Cup injured. In moving forward, let's make it less about the person and more about the policy. That's what Dave Cameron had said in a Trinidad Guardian story. Now, I put it to Tino and David and Mariah, do I have cause to, or a case to ask Cameron to hand over some prime Blue Mountain real estate?
You do, because he did criticize. He said you can't put someone in charge with no good track record. So clearly he's saying that they don't have the qualifications and the track record to be leading, and that's a criticism. As he said, he wasn't cited saying anything wrong. And he also spoke about their selection of the team. Again, he's criticizing the administration and their decisions, because he's saying you're taking unfit players. So Lance, I guess we're gonna get land.
Well, you know, his words were actually that he will sell me. If we hear that again, sell me. So I'm not sure what the price is. And I'm not sure if I mentioned any at all that I was interested in the prime land, but I would suggest, given his how he articulated it, yeah. He seemed pretty confident that the issue of presenting me with prime land, whether sold or given, would not be an issue. Tino and David, your thoughts on that exchange?
well, Lance, to be honest, you know, he was a bit critical. If you look at was it a tweet? I think.
No, it was a Trinidad Guardian story. It was a Trinidad Guardian newspaper story.
Yeah, I mean, he was a bit critical, and I mean, I should say, you know, he would have been in a bit of an emotional state in terms of like knowing what he has created in terms of how he got the players to be playing so well. And I kind of agree with him in terms of like fairing his staff. I honestly believe that the administration that came in, I think they should have given Tybus and that staff that had won against England in the Test series and drew 2-2 with them to after the World Cup or to after the India series. And then after the Indian series and they did not see the results that they wanted, I honestly believe that that's when they should have cut them. But I don't think that they should have come in and made the wholesale changes right away, because they felt that the team was kind of gelling on those for that moment in time. because it was the only one-day tournament that they would have played in the Caribbean against England, who was the #1 team in the world. They had the little Tri-Nation series up in Ireland, and then you had the guys who were in the IPL. So I thought that West Indies weren't really ready for the World Cup, and then to have new coaches coming in as well, I thought it was really hard for the guys to perform under those circumstances. So, I mean, he was kind of right. I am going to agree with him in that point of view. I just thought that Pybus and them should have just been given just the World Cup and another series. And then as the new administration, they don't like what they see, they could have fired him.
Yeah, but Tino, the issue is not whether his criticism was justified or not. He clearly said that he did not criticize them, David Brooke, but he did, didn't he?
He was criticizing them for sure, Lance. He was criticizing them. So okay. I agree he was criticizing, and he owes you some land.
Okay, David, can you jump in here on this one? You spoke to Cameron recently yourself.
Yeah, I actually stayed clear of the sort of internal politics and just looked at what he was saying for world cricket, and it seemed to make an awful lot of sense. You know, that we don't have an even playing field, a level playing field at the moment. You've got all these teams now playing in the World Test Championship with very, very inequitable distribution of income. So what he was saying about challenging the domination of the big three and having the experience to deal with India at the top table, you know, he does tick all those boxes. So if you look beyond the internal he said, she said, if you know, to have a West Indian at the helm of world cricket for first time since Clyde Walcott, you know, during that period in the last part of the last century, you know, it would be a good thing for West Indies. So if people can look beyond that, then you'd have to say that as far as the big picture is concerned, it's time to challenge the dominance of the big three. And will Colin Grave do that? If he takes over, surely that's a continuation of the current situation.
Well, David, Cricket West Indies, they haven't responded to his email because, of course, he sent an email, you know, asking for their support. When Ricky Skerritt was asked, he said, you know, right now he's focusing on the test match and he doesn't really have time to respond to any other things right now. How do you feel about, you know, Cricket West Indies not supporting him and he having to seek help and assistance and, of course, support from India and Pakistan?
Well, as you said, President Skerritt's kind of reserved his position on this until after this test series. And I think that's fair enough. You know, it would be a distraction, I guess, from you know, from the job at hand, which is, you know, supporting and putting on the united front against this England team at the moment. So he's been careful, I think, in terms of reserving his position. Unlike the vice president, who clearly perhaps was a bit indiscreet, perhaps in some of his comments, and I don't think whether he has a vote or not in the matter. So I think after this test series, we'll get a clearer idea of where the president stands.
Tino, don't you think that the narrative, you know, what Dave Cameron can really bring to West Indies cricket and how he can help cricket on the whole is being lost because it's being drowned with, you know, this versus that. And of course, his administration that he ran versus the new administration now. So whatever he can do to help cricket is being lost.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the situation that we are faced with, Mariah. We know that West Indies politics in terms of boards and presidents and who get voting, it's not a nice game. It gets blown out of proportion. It makes the news for the wrong reasons. So, I mean, it's a sad situation that S. Cameron does have a good mindset in terms of if he had to be the chairman of the ICC, that West Indies cricket and the lower teams can benefit. And it's being lost, and that is just how the game is played, Mariah. Like, you know, you get into politics, sometimes you mean well, but sometimes people don't support you, and that's just something you got to live with. And I think that at the end of the day, it's sad to see, but it's the world that we live in.
Yeah. David, how disappointing is it from an ICC standpoint that they've gone almost 2 weeks now without saying anything on the issue, having promised at the beginning of July that within a week, there would be some pronouncement from their end about the procedure with regard to appointing the procedure to appoint a new ICC chairman?
Yeah, no, I think a bit greater speed and transparency would be welcome, wouldn't it? We're still really waiting for an official announcement about the T20 World Cup and the IPL and things like that. So there's definitely been a stasis, probably because the ICC haven't been meeting in person. But yeah, I think the point being here is that we would like to see the issues being discussed. Because actually, if you look at what Dave Cameron is saying about the need to challenge the big three and that it's unfair, the division of revenues. It's very, very close to what Johnny Grave is saying, the current chief executive. So it's the same agenda, it's the same issues. And, if West Indies can unite around this and push this agenda, it's time to change the distribution of income. Jason Holder has talked about this as well, about having a set wage that encourages people to play international cricket. Otherwise, the smaller nations will get lost to the franchise tournaments. There's some big issues to deal with, and it'd be great to see everyone come together for the benefit of West Indies and the smaller nations.
Yeah, we know that Dave Cameron is a very confident individual. He does exude that kind of self-belief and so on. But to be quite fair, the initial support for him, or the proposition for him to go for the position, had come from the USA Cricket Hall of Fame. Not the USA Cricket Association, but the USA Cricket Hall of Fame. And I haven't heard from any territory that they are supporting Cameron. I'm hearing that Cameron has gone to India, he has gone to Pakistan to seek support. So is he overreaching here? Is he having blind confidence in a purpose that may amount to naught?
Well, I think who knows? I mean, I think a lot depends on whether Sourav Ganguly, the great Indian player and now administrator, decides to throw his hat into the ring. I think Dave Cameron has indicated that he probably wouldn't pursue the position if Ganguly puts his name forward. But if I can speak about Colin Grave, the apparent shoo-in, is that he's done nothing to endear himself to English cricket fans. That's for sure. Hasn't really been a supporter of Test cricket or even county cricket and first-class cricket. Intent on introducing a new competition which has alienated English cricket fans from this current administration. So there's no real track record of success as a cricket administrator that would encourage everyone to support Colin Grave. So I think an alternative candidate is a good thing. Okay,
so the latest that we've heard actually from Sourav Ganguly is that he thinks he is a young person and he will have enough time. And the narrative coming from him is kind of suggesting that he isn't in a hurry to go for the position now, maybe sometime down the road. So whether that translates into Cameron having a better shot at the position, only time will tell. But we're still awaiting the word from the ICC with regard to the process of appointment for the ICC chairmanship, as Imran Khawaja is currently in the interim post after Shashank Manohar stepped down in late June and had said then that he had no desire to go on. So we're awaiting the ICC story on that, which we expect soon. We expected it last week or a week and a half ago. Tino and David, thanks for being with us. We'll be back with more on The Zone after this.
Money.